The end is coming, my friends. Likely for Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns. That was basically the theme of this week's episode of Raw. And Brock Lesnar also slipped over on his ass. I am going to talk about that more than anybody needs to talk about it. And I'm also going to do a terrible promotion here at the start as well. Make sure you head to my TikTok later. Just search for Simon Miller. I do those when WWE promos go bad. Stupid skit videos where I pretend that I'm producing backstage segments. I'm absolutely working him in. I found that TikTok is the best place for them. I would like much more support because I'd like to do them as much as I can, which is a really stupid thing to say, but I've said it now. But let us talk about Monday Night Raw. Please hit that subscribe button because I tell you there's a lot to chat about. So yes, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Cody Rhodes, they are basically the centerpiece of the men's War Games team, which is kind of interesting given who else is within it, because it could actually be Jimmy and Jey Uso that fall out with each other. We'll figure out that one as well. But it starts off with Roman Reigns in the ring, and then Cody Rhodes interrupts him, and Cody Rhodes has made himself the captain, which is a very babyface thing to do, given, as Roman rightfully pointed out, I've been fighting this war all year. You just stuck your nose in. CM Punk also has been more involved in it because he's been on Raw. He comes out, he says that to Cody, you're Mr. SmackDown, and ultimately, you know, Roman Reigns, I know you won't turn your back on your family. Cody, you're kind of my buddy, but kind of not. And then it ends with Roman Reigns doing the biggest tease, saying, that championship belt would look way better around my waist. And CM Punk then asks which one he's talking about, and Roman says, that's you to figure out. Now, on my predictions video that we did on Monday, please do check that out, said that I think the heels are going to win. I think it should be the Bron Breakker show, even though Bron Breakker is like persona non grata at the moment. He doesn't do anything. It's totally nuts. And now, after this week's episode of Raw, I'm absolutely starting to think, I still think CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes is a better main event for WrestleMania, but WrestleMania is like 6 months away at the moment, so there's probably things that are going to happen before that, but I do think it's the end, as we teased in the thumbnail for this video. I don't think they're going to be friends for very long. I think WWE is going to lean very heavily into the can they coexist angle, and then we can kind of just go from there. And they are the biggest stars. Like, it all depends whether Cody Rhodes or CM Punk is going to hold that title all the way through till WrestleMania. You could... Problem is, if you have Roman Reigns win one of them, you'd have to imagine the rematch is going to be at WrestleMania. I am just trying to fantasy book, not specifically for the video, how we get to Cody versus Punk for WrestleMania Night 2 on the Sunday at WrestleMania 42, because I think it's the one match that WWE has they've never done, and if you allow them to promo against each other in the weeks leading up to it, I think you're going to catch everybody's attention because they'll lean into the AEW stuff, they'll lean into the Punk leaving stuff. I think there will be a meta conversation that goes on around it that makes it super duper interesting. But this to me felt like planting the seeds. And it could be a ruse, of course, because something else is going to happen. For example, Jey turns on Jimmy or Jimmy turns on Jey. But all of a sudden, though, Roman and Cody are never going to get on. They've got history. CM Punk has always been an outlier, has always been a lone wolf. So I imagine there's going to be friction. I imagine that's going to tie in. I still think, well, it depends who Cody is going to feud with as well. Bron Breakker pinning CM Punk, I think, has the biggest impact for stories you may want to tell, depending how big we want to go for Bron. But then you do have Jimmy Uso in there too. And I love Jimmy Uso. I think he's underutilized and underrated. But he's somebody that you can pin that actually wouldn't tie into a story. Sometimes you do put guys in bouts just to take the 1, 2, 3, as we know. But they fell out in the middle of the show. In the middle of the show as well, because none of them could decide who the leader was going to be. This is when Jimmy and Jey did walk in and say, man, in that tag team match, to determine who's going to get the advantage, we'll take the ball here, because you guys, they even said it, you guys can't get on the same page. And then CM Punk, in a very sincere way, was like, excuse me, can you please tell me what the flub is going on, who is leading this team? And obviously they're 3 alpha males, to use that term. I don't think any of them can lead it. I mean, I guess Cody would, because he's the WWE champion, the way the hierarchy works in WWE, that makes you the face of the company. I don't think we did this for fun. I don't think we did it for happenstance. And obviously we are very heavily leaning into the idea of Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns again, which I'm not totally enthused by, only because I've seen it so many times. I saw people posting on social media going, well, we did this feud over here 1,000 times. I'm not talking about that feud. I'm just talking about Roman Reigns versus Brock. And in my wrestling fandom, there's nothing else they could possibly do. And I'm pretty sure that last one they did at SummerSlam was sold as the last time ever. But when does that ever ring true in professional wrestling? But that was my big takeaway, is that Roman Reigns and CM Punk and Cody Rhodes are on a crash course to something. I'm worried it's going to be a triple threat match. That's too similar to what we did at 42, right? We're just taking Seth Rollins out and putting Cody Rhodes in there. I wouldn't do anything that feels even slightly similar to WrestleMania 41. I think overall, the majority of people thought it was a disappointment. And once again, this could be a trick. It could be a work, so to speak. It could be part of the story that we're meant to think this will be their downfall when we get to the War Games, but then somehow they get it together, allowing the baby faces to win, which of course you could do. Just don't pin Drew McIntyre, because that would be terrible. But I would be intrigued to see what you think about this. So please do drop me a comment below. What directions are we headed with? And there's no way a star as big as Roman Reigns, even though he does come and go and he's got that awesome schedule and more power to him, he is not going to make a threat, I suppose, that he's going to take one of those world titles without getting to that world title match. Given that I don't think you need to do it at WrestleMania, I think there will be a huge title match at the Royal Rumble because it's in Saudi Arabia. And we all know how that works. Saudi Arabia pay a ridiculous amount of money, and that means they usually get top-tier billing when it comes to the card. So maybe Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes Part 3 is going to be in Saudi, and then maybe it's CM Punk versus Bron Breakker. Nah, Bron Breakker needs to be in the Rumble. I think Bron Breakker could win that Rumble. Maybe we don't do a CM Punk title match. Maybe it's just one, although I doubt that as well, for the reasons we did just lay out. But that's what I think that we've done here. And a good way to get to that is for Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes to have a big fallout in the cage, which causes them to lose. I don't know how much, Roman's going to be on TV. Roman could vanish for the 2 weeks after Survivor Series, because that is going to be the John Cena show. It's all everyone's going to be talking about. Although you'd imagine they're probably all going to be there to celebrate his career too. So that will be intriguing. But I think going through to the end of the year, I think we're going to have 6 weeks for something like Cody versus Roman. I certainly wouldn't bet my hair on it, because I think we could pivot a few times, but we just didn't do this for fun. This was a very big white, red, big old flag. This is the direction we're going in, so please jump on board. It was fine. I think a lot of this episode of WWE either felt too stereotypical and as if we weren't willing to take risks, which you don't always have to do, but sometimes it is more glaring, or we did what I believe, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, given the people that were involved, one of the worst segments of the year. Now, I've said this on my ups and downs where I freelance for What Culture. I'm going to say it here too. Please listen. Please don't just send me crazy, or you can send me crazy messages. All engagement is fine. If you liked it, I am happy for you. Genuinely. You are allowed to be entertained by whatever the flub you want to be entertained by, right? You cannot expect to watch 52 weeks of wrestling programming and love it all and hate it all. As you know, I am the biggest supporter. I am the leader of the Goofy Wrestling for Life party. I think if wrestling was all serious, it would be rubbish. And actually, if I was going to make a decision, it would be 70% goofy, 30% serious. It would be a bad idea. I'm just trying to get across how much I like dumb stuff in wrestling. It doesn't always mean that it works. I don't just go, me. It was meant to be goofy. What's that? It was meant to be goofy, and therefore I'm going to support it. The Dominik Mysterio, John Cena angle, I thought was atrocious. And listen, I want to double down on this as well. I never liked it. Didn't like it when DX did it back with Bret Hart in 97. Didn't like it when we did it with Booker T. There'd be so many. It's been at least done 10 times. And Hornswoggle used to sort of fall into that ballpark constantly. But it goes over my head. I've said this already. I'm going to say it again. I don't know what the joke is. I use the same example. When Shawn Michaels trolled the Montreal crowd in 2005, maybe it was 2006, and pretended Bret Hart was coming down, you got the pop of the Bret Hart music and people went crazy. You can still watch that today, and it's got the same aura to it, to use 2025 words. But the joke was on the fans. Shawn Michaels pointed and laughed. It's like, I tricked you. And you could say that was meant to be the trick here because we had little John Cena coming up, but it wasn't, because the story was meant to be, was take wrestling, on the up and up. Dominik Mysterio had hired a little person and a little cameraman Stu to send some sort of a humiliation shot to John Cena, because we knew John Cena wasn't going to be on the show because he's only got 2 dates left. Then this impersonator decides he actually does want to fight Dominik Mysterio, and Dominik Mysterio is so mad that he broke their joke. He boots him in the face, he gives him the splash of the frogs, out comes Rey Mysterio, he chases him away, the Judgment Day will laugh about this like it's the best thing of all time. What is the punchline? I just don't get it. I didn't laugh. I didn't smile. I thought it was ridiculous. It's one of those segments that I'd never want anyone to walk in on when I'm watching pro wrestling, because trying to explain that, I think, would be borderline embarrassing. Again, this is just my take. Wrestling should still do this stuff. It's just, if I had a magic wand, I would get rid of it. And also, I don't think it was the right thing for Dominik to do. I think Dominik going serious Dom here and really dangling down the line that he's going to win the IC title back and he is a good wrestler and people laugh at him all the time. Go back to our percentages, right? 90% of the time, it's one of the reasons I love him so much, Dominik Mysterio is a moron, is an idiot, and he can get away with it because he totally understands what he's trying to do. So why didn't we just do something a bit different here and give him an edge? Not Adam Copeland, he went to AEW. I think it was a missed opportunity, and now it's just nothing. It's nothing you ever need to see again. It doesn't make me more excited about about John Cena versus Dominik Mysterio. It felt like we were going back to old WWE, and even some quote-unquote good ideas from back then, I still think WWE should ignore. We have kind of built this brand new brand. Some of it is good and some of it is not so good, as we talked about time and time again. But recreate it in your own image. Don't go back to some of those old tropes that just make you go, what are we doing? I don't even know what else to say about it. But I didn't know about this. When I watch Raw, I watch it, live and without social media. Well, actually, no, if I watch it live, watch it on social media. But sometimes I get up like 3:30 or whatever. And I'll watch it as live for me. So I don't go on because I don't want anybody else's reactions. And when it came out, I honestly did this. I just looked around the room like, no, don't do stuff like that. It just didn't work for me at all. Like, it really, really didn't. And I didn't crack a smile, because some people go, oh, you just don't want to be into it. Because some things are going to be funny to some people and not to other people. And it just made me cringe in my stomach, all right? It made me go cringy in my tum-tum, which I've never said, which is a cringy thing for me to say to begin with. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments below. I facepalmed throughout all of this, okay? I was watching it like this, going, I don't want to do this anymore. Please stop. It wasn't for me, all right? And I genuinely did think it was one of the worst segments of the year. But that's also probably because Dominik Mysterio was involved. And when I do my Wrestler of the Year list, he's still going to be on it. That's how good I think his 2025 has been. But this was a hit and a miss, and it made me sad, and I never want to talk about it again. And given this could be the last big build for a John Cena match, I would have loved it if it could have been something like a moment in time. We even had the little person doing a fine speech. Either the audience didn't care or they did not connect to this either, because they didn't make any noise. They didn't even join in with like, you want some, come get some. They didn't say any of it. It's bad, all right? And shout out to those people that say Simon always sits on the fence. I ain't sitting on the fence here. And then Brock Lesnar slipped on his ass. Now listen, I want to talk about this on a human level. I never want anyone to be embarrassed on live television. I just don't. Even people like Brock Lesnar, who I consider super controversial. Again, you can get my feelings on the man. Go back when the SummerSlam return happened. So I'm thinking this on a human race level as opposed to an individual level. I want to make that clear because I think sometimes people misconstrue what I'm going to say. But it was hilarious, right? Some things are just funny. And given who it was a bit like, well, what are you going to do? Although you do have to give Brock Lesnar some props in the moment. He got up and laughed. And Paul Heyman laughed. And then Brock Lesnar put a cowboy hat on Bron Breakker's head. And he just got on with it. Now, actually, I think it's a great lesson and a great bit of how to react to those kind of things. I remember once I was walking past a bus stop and I tripped over, right? And I did a forward roll and somehow I kind of wiggled my way back up to my feet, right? It's the lamest and the coolest thing I've ever done. But because it made me laugh out loud, all of a sudden you're like, I think a few other people around me giggled too. It didn't matter. And I've tripped up walking into a wrestling ring. I remember one time very early on, I caught my foot on the ropes and did a bit of a jig and people laughed at that too. I really think there is something to be said to be able to laugh this stuff off. And I actually thought Brock did that. And I think that's why it's so much easier to be entertained by it. But if we get rid of all that kind of a stuff, it was just so funny. It couldn't have come at a better time in terms of making it the most surreal footage you ever saw. There's pyrotechnics going off. Brock Lesnar is screaming, and he doesn't just like fall down. That man burned. And he somehow rolled out of it as well. He's so athletic, he kind of rolled and got back up again. Bronson Reed, you then catch him on camera. He has to run off because he's laughing too. It may be, I don't like the term botch, but we'll use it because people know what I'm talking about. It may be the best botch of all time, given who it is, given some of the other things that have happened, given the fact he ripped his pants a couple of months ago, and his reaction, and Bronson Reed. I mean, it really was tremendous. At one point, I was going to make the whole video about this. It is something that we have to talk about, just because, like, if Dominik Mysterio had done this, to go back to him, people probably would have thought he was working. There's no way that Brock Lesnar would ever have decided this was a good thing for his character to do. It was wonderful. It's 8 seconds long. You can see it on Twitter. I saw it on Sean Ross Sapp's account. He got the footage and put it out there. So you can check it out there as well. It could have been the best thing that happened on Raw. Let's talk about more things I didn't like. Hey, I actually quite enjoyed this episode of Raw overall. I thought it played it safe, and that sometimes makes it easier to watch. But the Maxine Dupree stuff, I mean, I want to talk about it because it cracked me up, man. Genuine laughter, because she's backstage, and she's like, oh, man, I'm so happy I'm the champ. Adam Pearce, for no reason, tells her, a lot of people have called me and said they would like to fight you. I'm not going to give you any of those names, but you should call Natalya. Now, listen, I understand that Maxine Dupree and Natalya have been linked on screen, but literally 1 week ago, the big reveal was her coach was now AJ Lee. We scrapped Scrap that, right? That's gone. That's out. We don't want to put them together anymore. So you've got to deal with that. Ivy Nile then makes her return by saying she wants an Intercontinental title shot. She's done nothing. Maxine then bumps into Roxanne Perez, who also wants a title shot. When Adam Pearce comes in, he becomes like a sidekick in a buddy cop movie and goes, well, better be time to ring Natalia. Like, you're in trouble, Maxine. You make the matches, Adam Pearce. You could decide what happens here. And I just thought it was a car wreck. Where's Lyra Valkyria? She should be first in line. Can I have a shot now after I got screwed over by Bayley, who I'm now friends with, and Becky Lynch put that stupid stipulation in charge? It was fun. I'm not going to deny that, but I feel like the work done on the IC Championship in 2025 has been such of a level. Don't get rid of that. Don't degrade it to where the Women's US Championship is. And I love Maxine Dupree being a champion. There's nothing wrong with somebody who is still learning the ropes, but has that kind of support and that just natural, likable nature to them. Leading a charge is something new. It's something different. I love the Samoa Joe thing, AEW, different. I love the Maxine Dupree thing. It's different. I want to keep being surprised if I'm going to watch all this content throughout the year. But it needs to be a solid follow-up. And it just felt so random. And I think what really sort of did it badness as well, which is barely English, is at the back-to-back of this is that we went into a Stephanie Vaquer, Nikki Bella video promo. A video promo. Now, maybe they do something on SmackDown, but the spoilers are out there, so I don't think they do. Stephanie Vaquer should have been in the ring cutting a promo, and Nikki Bella should have cut her off. I understand that's boring WWE and wrestling, but that's what they do for the big belts, and that's absolutely a big belt, and you can't tell me. People say, well, Stephanie Vaquer, she can't speak very good English, but the English she can speak is brilliant because she makes you care and she makes you sympathize with her, which again is what a good babyface needs to do. She's very endearing. So you shouldn't have to be scared of a microphone. She is able to take what she does have and connect with the crowd. That's all you need to do. Some people can do that without ever saying a word, right? Because they just have this innate ability to do it. And not to have Nikki Bella on the show at all. That match now just feels like it's kind of there. I did like this video promo because, Stephanie was like, I've watched you all your career. I understand the doors you opened, but quite clearly you haven't done your research on me, so now I'm going to break you in two. Like, yeah, you tell her, you absolute badass. But it came and went so quickly and followed this Intercontinental title mess. A fun mess, like I say, but mess all the same. I just thought it was nuts. Although the women's War Game stuff was better. I'm still going to die on this hill this year. It's like the fifth time I've said it, so I'm boring myself. We should have just picked one War Games this year. Because the men's, certain elements have just been thrown together. Why is Cody Rhodes in it, for example? I'm glad he is. He's a superstar. But it's very similar to the women's one as well. Why do we put Nia Jax and Lash Denton together? Because that means we can total things up to 5. I did think Becky Lynch was brilliant. Now, there are some detractors on the internet. I don't know whether this is real or you're just trolling. I think she had a fantastic year. I think she's one of the best wrestlers of 2025. Basically tells AJ Lee, I'm going to sue you, and Jessica Carr, the referee, when she tries to butter up all of her teammates and does a miserable job. Oscar, I think we fought 10 times. I beat you 9. Kairi saying, I saved your life. Don't forget about that. Nia Jax, you're powerful, but I'm more powerful. And she was like, Lash Legend, you're a big star. Stick with me, kid, and I'll get you to the top. AJ Lee and the babyfaces come out. AJ Lee's promo was fine. I think she should lean more into being the real-life AJ Lee as opposed to the character from 2014 AJ Lee, but I also think you can debate that. It all depends on what you want from this. Rhea was brilliant. She got past the microphone and she punched Nia Jax right in the face, and then you get the big brawl, and I think the babyfaces were standing tall. That rhymes, so it must be true, and Io Sky did a moonsault. So maybe the heels are going to win. I don't know. It felt very much like War Games 101, as did the end of the show. Everybody brawls, and just to get the idea of sort of gang warfare across, which is all War Games is. I don't think any of these teams do anything on SmackDown. Again, I don't have a point-by-point rundown of the spoilers, so that could be wrong. But this kind of felt like the go-home angles, and they were very similar to each other. So it went in the middle of the show and the end of the show, apart from the tag team match, which was also fine. Did I say this? Logan Paul won with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, surprise roll-up when he was teaming with Drew, and then everybody came out. Big old distraction. Jey Uso does a dive, and Jimbo was so happy he got caught with that, which again could lead to a heel turn. But aside from the match, I thought they were very, very similar. But it was all right. It was okay. I think what Survivor Series does have going for it is that the level of War Games is always so high that even if you weren't sold by watching the television, you're probably going to tune into the pay-per-view, because when do they ever let you down? The answer is rarely. The worst news, actually, I mean, all this is opinion, so who cares about that, is during Penta versus Solo, Penta got injured. I think he tore his shoulder, he did something to his shoulder. He wanted to pop it back in, but because Solo Sikoa was going to win anyway, apparently, according to the internet, WWE officials just decided, we'll end it now, and the referee can call it not a no contest, but award it to Solo, because Penta couldn't continue. This is something that I think all wrestling promotions should do. We all understand that wrestling is a work, right? It's predetermined, and that should be an advantage in situations like this. Penta doesn't need to work his ass off for another, I think they went 4, they went to go 12. So let's say we're going to go 10, right? We'll round it down. You don't need to go an extra 6 minutes with a dodgy shoulder. When you go away, get some ice on it, maybe get some proper medical attention, and be back in 3 weeks as opposed to 6 to 8 weeks because you tore it or you made it even worse. Or it could be a dislocation. Who knows? But the sooner you can get treatment on it, the better it's going to be. I mean, Solo Sikoa's a heel as well, so he can lean into this, and that doesn't really matter. But even then, the point is, this is when we do get back to that sort of reality storyline blur. We understand what wrestling is. So no one's going to be like, I can't believe this happened. We'll go, well, no, it's a dangerous sport. Penta got injured. Thank goodness he could get some help. It's what we should all do. Always. Absolutely every single time. It would be a way better industry standard. And sure, maybe there'll be some goofball that's never watched wrestling before, go, oh man, it's so fake. And it's like, well, in this instant, yes, it is. But we're dealing with a very super real situation. So thank goodness it is all one big story. Because, yeah, we have to make sure people get their health back and then Penta can be back in the ring. I'm more surprised that he was going to lose to Solo, given what may be happening later in the week. But I love Solo Sikoa, so I'm all right with it. Gunther versus Carmelo Hayes as well was brilliant. Could be the highlight of the night, actually, now I've said that. Just a great back-and-forth match. Great count-out tease, given what we did do on SmackDown. Of course, Gunther got the win after kind of surprising Carmelo with a power bomb. I hope this was an audition. Not an audition, Carmelo Hayes has already passed that, but a reminder to the bigwigs that in 2026 you can do way more with Carmelo Hayes, probably as a babyface. The dude has got it, and now, yeah, I'm pretty convinced that Gunther is going to win the John Cena tournament, so we may as well start thinking about it now. Let's say it's Gunther versus John Cena. Again, you can let me know in the comments below. Does John Cena win? Does Gunther win? I think my money at the moment is that John Cena loses to Dominik Mysterio on Saturday and beats Gunther at the 13th show, Saturday night's main event, to send us all home happy. And then we've got rid of the IC title off of him, so you haven't got to sort of have that in the air. But he also gets that one big win. At the same time, if Gunther does it, he can brag about beating Goldberg and retiring Goldberg and John Cena in a single year. But it was just good. And Gunther is great. And Carmelo Hayes, as always, reminds you, I didn't get here by fluke. That was Raw, mostly, I think. Mixed bag. A real mixed bag show. I think the highs were good enough that you could have enjoyed it. But actually, what I will say, even with the awfulness that was Dominik Mysterio, it wasn't so bad it was good. But it wasn't boring bad. At least it was obnoxiously bad. when things are in that category, you can have some fun with it because you can throw your arms around and be all like over the top and stuff. And I would always rather WWE was like that. Like if you had to go back to WWE being crap again, not 2019, that's the really, really bad stuff. But a couple of years before that, just so much mad stuff happened and you could have fun with it at least, as stupid as it was. I think it built Survivor Series and War Games as much as it could have done. The Cody Roman Punk thing intrigues me because I think it's building to something bigger. I think we're going to get through Survivor Series and through John Cena's thing. I think WWE probably realizes it's going to need an injection in the arm, which will be one of those three. And that could be good. That could be good. And again, the fact we all put them there and two of them are world champions, I don't know. I just hope WWE sticks the landing. Now, of course, please do let me know what you thought in the comments below. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen, which is my Survivor Series predictions. Let's see if I can get those right. Probably not. And again, the Black Friday sale for grillamine.com/Simon. Use code Simon. Goes on for 5 more days, up to 40% off. Free shipping all over the place. Take advantage of this now. I'm so confident you'll like the products that you won't even regret it. That's what I think about them. Otherwise, patreon.com/Simon316. The John Cena watch along continues. Although I think we're going to do Austin versus The Rock from WrestleMania 19. Made a surprise victory in a poll, but we're also going to do the sort of famous John Cena-Cesaro match as well this week, so you can check that out. Come say hello and tell me how wrong I am at simonmiller316 on social media. Mention TikTok, search for my name. Same with Cameo and same with Pro Wrestling Tees. That is it. I will love you and leave you. Have a great day. See you soon.